We've seen Putin not holding his word on many occasions. I don't think anyone in Ukraine really expects much from this conversation. I mean, we know what's on the table on the Putin side. He made it clear, right? So he said, "I want what he calls denazified and demilitarized neutral country." Translating into the English language, it means I want a second Belarus, a country that is fully controlled by me with my military bases, which tells what I do with a loose structure where the central government does not control the regions. And by the way, Crimea and Donbass will be taken away. So from these positions, I don't think that anyone in Ukraine would accept anything close to that because this is, I mean, frankly speaking, this is capitulation. So that's why people are still fighting. That's why people on the ground are not afraid and are willing to continue. I think we need negotiations, but this has to be a real talks. We have to be strong. We have to be coming with something that will satisfy Ukrainian people and their willingness to be free and independent.
Do you think there are perhaps points that the two sides could compromise on?
Look, I think at some point we will have to make an agreement, right? The problem here is that no one trusts Putin, right? He says you have to be a neutral state and there will be guarantees. We all remember well the Budapest Memorandum of 1994 when Ukraine gave away its nuclear weapons. That was quite huge at that time, and the guarantees that Russia gave that Ukraine will remain independent. And this has been blatantly breached in 2014 and again this year. So the problem here is that nothing that Putin tries to guarantee to us will be trusted. So when you don't trust someone who you're talking to, it's very hard to find a compromise.
Right.
So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm sure that the only agreement that can be reached will have to be brokered by someone else. There has to be third parties that can make the guarantees that will be trusted.
Now, it seems that Putin's strategy to divide the bloc and weaken NATO is at the moment backfiring spectacularly. If anything, the countries are more united than ever, really rallying behind Ukraine. Are you comforted at least by that?
I think that's a very welcome development. We haven't seen this happening after Putin invaded Georgia in 2008. We haven't seen that happening in 2014 when he annexed Crimea and invaded Donbass. So we're finally at the stage where NATO has been fully energized and in agreement that Putin is threatening the whole of the free world. Now, the only question is how quickly the NATO and Europe as an EU and other allies can move to stop Putin from doing the next step. I think the problem here is that NATO and EU have been reacting on what the Putin has already done, whereas now having this unity, I think everybody has to think how to stop him from raising the stakes and doing the next step.